Guys, welcome. It is the second webinar of 2024. So it's a Q&A today. And then we do have a marketing webinar after this. Just a pre-frame, it is literally Jan the 3rd. A lot of people in Australian shores. Tan, is it the same in New Zealand shores where it's very quiet through January? It's very quiet, guys, for who's what. It's not? Or is it?
I was so shocked. Yesterday was packed.
Okay.
It was packed. Like, I was like, oh my God, I could have kept continuing with my hamper. We had like all these new signups picking up their key tags. And so I was immediately like to my PT, I'm like, send me the new member list, like immediately.
Yeah, that's mad.
Yeah.
Because you got obviously it's summer in New Zealand as well, right? But you don't have a New Zealand day at the end of the month that most people go, yeah, let's take the whole bloody month off for that, mate. Yeah, we'll take the whole month off, sort of thing. You don't have
No,
that.
we don't.
Yeah.
No.
So as what we're going back, I digress, is basically just to say that it is a month where it is busy for people that take holidays that don't go away, because not every single person that takes holiday will spread their wings and leave the nest, right? So we need to capitalize. So basically today we're here to talk about anything that anyone needs to do with hampers. If you haven't ran them, we were just talking about Fletch and when to run them if you wanted to start running them, but then anything to do with anything. And what we did yesterday as well was we did a little bit of like goal setting for the years and what people, or for the year ahead, and what people want to achieve. So there's that as well. So first and foremost, I'll say Mike, Tan, because I know everyone else is pretty sweet. Any questions? I know, Tan, by the sounds of things, we go with you first. You've got a ton of leads, ton of new joiners. And the hamper leads, where are you up to at the moment?
I had, I think, 85 in total. I was sick for like a few days, which was a bit of a bummer. But yeah, 85. And then I've got, I think, another 100 from new member list.
You have a ton.
Um, yeah, I did have a question regarding the new member list though, because I watched the last training video on the hamper.
Yeah.
Um, I can tailor this. So this is just for the new member list. I can just tailor that to be like a New Year's one too, right?
That is correct. So I think just before I continue here, because I haven't done a webinar in a week, I forgot to say about everyone watching this on record, right? If you're watching this on record, take note today, because I'm actually going to be quite open about what we've done with our marketing. Normally, we save our marketing for the second webinar today, right? But what Tanya's talking about is two strategies. So we'll be open today, 2024, give you guys on the YouTube channel, whoever watches it, some new value. So you may have heard the word hamper. So just a pre-frame. What we do is a simple strategy throughout Christmas and New Year. And if you're watching this, this is a golden nugget for you, where we run a hamper giveaway to generate leads. This is tailored around a fitness journey for the start of whatever the next year is going to be, depending on what time of year, or depending on what year it is. That's that. Now, you've also mentioned Tan here talk about new joiners, right? And then Tanya talking about tailoring the new joiners to the time of year that is, which is New Year, and tailoring the new joiners with a bit of an approach towards the start of a new year, right, Tan? Is that what you're saying? Yes.
That's it.
So there's two strategies for anyone that's watching this, all right, on record. Getting a list of new members is very, very, very important for any face-to-face trainers. You will be able to get these 99.9% of the time. And then if you ever want to run a strategy where you can generate leads at any time on your own, run a competition, whether it's a hamper, whether it's a giveaway, whatever it is. We have multiple of these. However, there is a lot of detail in the follow-up. And that's what we're not going to go into today, because it takes a lot of time. There's a lot of sequences and follow-ups and nurturing of the leads and callings, when to call, scripts, and what to do with runners-ups and stuff like that. So Tan, to answer your question, yes, basically everything you do now, guys, and this is for everybody. For example, I know Cass could probably go and get a ton of new members, especially for Smithfield. If you're in that bracket where you have access to a new member base, right, what you want to be doing is you're tailoring your language now, the same whether they're from the hamper, from the New Year's members list, you're tailoring your language to the time of year. So it's 2024. What's the goal for the year ahead? What didn't you do last year that you want to achieve this year? You've got to play on the whole sense that, you know, your gym is busy at City Fitness Town because it's New Year probably, and people have got goals and they want to get after it, right? So you got to just use your language and tailor it. We spoke about that in the last training for the hamper and the marketing marathon. But yeah, what are you thinking of saying? Do you want any further assistance on that, or you pretty much get it from what I've said there?
No, it was just more for like the calling,
Yeah, yeah.
for the new member list, because I think it'll just hype it up a little bit more.
Yeah. So what I would do is this, and again, this is like more, this is marketing, specifically marketing value, but this is what I would do. I would go literally, hey, what's going on? Happy 2024. Welcome to City Fitness. We can see that you joined last week. Always personalize it a little bit and just say this year, because of the time of year it is, all right, or at this time of year, because of the time of year it is, we're giving every single person tailored result specific kickstart packages that enable your gym journey to get off to the best possible start, right? When suits you best to claim it, morning or evening. That's all I would do. I would just tweak it like that. Nothing like when these calls that get done by reception staff or any PTs that just don't have the terminology that we use here at Pinnacle. It's like, hey, how are you? How's the weather? Do you want a free PT session? Like it doesn't work. So I just tailor it, tweak it, welcome them. Hey, we can see you joined yesterday or 2 days before last week, whatever it was. And we're giving every single person the shiny object, right, to get your gym journey off to the best possible start when suits you best. And that's pretty much all I would do. And just go hard. So this is what we were talking about yesterday. I presume, I hope the reason why the webinars may be dead for the next few weeks is because people are just on the call, on their phones, making calls, right? Just make tons of calls. Like it's all you've got to do now. And guys, like I say, in November, which is now 6-7 weeks ago when we started the marketing marathon, before you know it, it will be Christmas. That's now past. It's New Year's past, and we're now in Jan. The deadline for you getting on top of these leads is 4 weeks to 5 to 6 weeks time. That's it. And you have to be communicating with these guys. I'll be saying this all the time, every webinar. You have to communicate the touch point, like the touching base with them around, like, we've got a ton of people and we'll be in touch with you within, I think I said in the post that I put out, within the next 2 weeks. I want you to ideally touch base with every single lead that you have got in the next 2 weeks. Like, this is where, Tan, for you really want to be utilizing your trainer if they're not on holiday themselves, depending on if they're having time off, and leveraging your workload to them so that you can take on the more important workload, which is this, right? Get your trainer to go and do this, and you can do this. And that's where the magic happens. I'm telling you, we're going to be doing a big focus this year with really removing manual tasks. I spoke about this to the guys who were here yesterday, removing manual tasks that dominate people's time, hold you back from growing your businesses. And that's what I'm going to be really focusing on with people, obviously like yourself, Tan, Mike, as we continue making you as free as possible so that your business can grow without having to look at the back end shit. Like, because all the back end stuff, we spoke yesterday. I think it was Fletch who said it, and he was like, is this fully booked? Is it 20 hours? And I was like, yes, it's 20 hours. So 20 hours is fully booked. If you're charging $62.50 a session, in between 60 and 65, it equals $2,500 a week. That is enough cash flow to pay rent and overhead, plus all of your personal bills, and to have enough to hire a trainer and create time freedom. And then when you create time freedom, the amount of, or the speed at which you move forward is phenomenal if you shift your focus. So yeah, we've got to get you to shift your focus, Tan, ideally, and get through these leads, and you'll have massive growth. How's Sai getting on with his study in that?
Yeah, he's good. He's a little bit over halfway, I want to say.
Yeah,
Yeah,
with
but
both
he wants
Cert 3
to.
and 4?
Oh, sorry, what was that?
With Cert 3 and 4, or whatever you guys call it over there. What do you?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It's just a Cert 4.
Okay.
And yeah, there's a little bit of a wait list to get into the gyms as a trainer at the moment. But I'm sure there's so many city fitnesses, plus they're planning on building more because Planet Fitness is coming into New Zealand.
Yeah.
So there's going to be there'll be heaps of options this year.
Yeah.
He just needs to, it's just a matter of finishing his cert.
Yeah, nice. Very, very, very good. Yeah, I mean, as soon as he comes on, I mean, what I'd say is you guys just work together. Do you know what I mean? Work
Although
together.
he's got a very like he's he wants to already trade his trade his time. So like he wants to already free up his time. He wants to like go into more online stuff. And I was like, let's get the money now and hit
Yeah.
the floor with me. But I
You
don't know.
need to. You're like, he need, like, I mean, it's great. I just, man, I was speaking with people this morning from a thread online about, like, they were asking for marketing tips and like, what do you need to do? And like people's responses to online stuff was just hire an agency, like send lots of friend requests, get inside groups, all the shit that you just is not what you want to be doing. The best way for anyone, like you can, like, we've had this many times as well, Tan, with couples where we know the best thing that, you know, ideally Sai should do. It should be following your footsteps. Hell, you motivated him to become a trainer, right? So he should follow in your footsteps. But with that being said, it's good that he's already thinking about, like, you know, creating time freedom. But what we've got to get Sai to see, or what you've got to get him to see yourself, work your magic, is that he has no experience, he has no track record, he has no rapport built. Like, you can't go online. You like, he will see you flustered and worked and stretched, right? That's why he may be thinking, I'm going to go the other way and go online. I challenge him to go and do a quarter of what you have done in the amount of time. It is very, very hard out there. It is very hard. And I'm not saying, I always say this, I'm not being biased, I'm just being realistic. Like, it's very, very tough. You want to go and get people to DM cold people all day? First and foremost, I'd much rather be in front of people in the gym building actual relationships rather than just cold DMing and getting soft blocked on social media platforms, trying to hope that people like, you know, you. So it's good. But look, at the end of the day, the first thing people want as a business owner is cash flow. You get that cash flow boost. It's easy to do it face to face. Then go online, no problem. You can do that. It's no problem whatsoever. Like, Tan, you could go online now. We could set up another income stream, but most face-to-face trainers go, no, I like what I have, you know what I mean? And you just leverage it out, keep making passive income. And if you want to do something on the side as well, awesome. But yeah, one thing on a deeper note, guys, like, one thing that I have learned is, and Mike has known me for years and years and years. We were speaking about that yesterday. I have never changed my lane. Mike knows that. Like, I've never ever changed. Like, Mike has always, I've done the same shit, Mike, right? The last 8 years, right? I have never changed my lane. You know, Reese Marg, you know, Reese, Mike, he's actually making a comeback as a PT, but from the very, very bottom. He's starting out off again from the bottom. These are people that, like, were on the same trajectory as me, but changed directions. What I'm trying to get at here, right? And I'm not just saying because what I've done has, like, it is the best thing to do, but for me, it's worked. I'm happy. That's the main thing. And I can see that obviously, you know, I've got happy clients, which is good. I just don't change the channel. I don't change the path. Stay on the same path. If something's working, what commonly happens is that people will chase different things, which is called shiny object syndrome. And when there is a shiny object that is behind a freaking jail cell, right? But you don't think there's a jail cell. You just see a diamond. You think, oh, I'm just going to deviate over here now because this is over here. It's fine. A lot of the time, that's when people crash and they burn. And it is like that. I mean, we spoke yesterday about a couple clients that did interstate moves. I was telling you about, Fletch. One of them went okay, and the other one just, unfortunately, he's screwed. And this guy's making $11,000 a week. So when I say he was doing well, this guy was making over $500,000 a week at one point, a year at one point, and now really, really struggles. And it's only because of the shift. But there's a lot of other things that come into it. What you want for your life, right? What direction you see yourself going in, right? So Yeah, but I know wholeheartedly for you guys as your mentor that if I mentor you to leverage, leverage creates all the freedom that you will ever want. And then what you will have then is just the ability, or you'll have the goal and the task of management. That is the hardest part. Management's the hardest part. But if you're a good person, you can be a good manager. And yeah, you can win. That's simple.
I have a question about that, actually.
It's good. And we'll turn this now into a forecasting forward, goal setting and stuff like that, whatever you want to do. Yes.
Because like Simon and I, like, we don't want to stay in New Zealand forever. We want to go at least, fingers crossed, Australia.
Yeah.
And so then, like, if I get to a point where it's just like, okay, I'm in management, I'm managing everybody, what would happen if we were like, okay, maybe like we've got the money to move now, let's just do it? What would then happen to what I've set up?
It's a good question. So this is what's happened before. I've relocated people like interstate. I've never done, we spoke yesterday, Flex, we're right about internationally. You could be the first international one, Tan, if you want. Look, it's hard. It's hard. You have to hire, you need to replace yourself as a manager. You have to hire management, right? But then that management, again, like I said, and this is Fletcher was saying yesterday, like, do you do like one-on-one coaching? And I was like, we do. Like, some people work directly with me. Like, it's very detailed. Like, I'm speaking with these guys every day, and like, obviously with that comes a slight jump in what you pay, because you pay, I'm giving you my time daily about things that are so meticulous, and I can't create content for it. I was saying to all the guys yesterday, it's impossible to create content about. You need to hire a manager, but at the same time, it will work. Don't get me wrong, it will work, but it comes down to your management style. And I'm only just going off the most recent experience that I had, which didn't work out, and that was only because of the management style that the person had. That's all it was. So you can do it. But the thing is, it's like this, right? So if you owned like a brick and mortar business and you had employees in there, and it was like you were selling products, right? Or whatever, supermarket, let's just say, right? It's the kind of business that kind of ticks on its own. The hardest thing with you guys is that you are the product initially, then you hire staff to become part of the product. Then you hire a manager to manage the people who are part of the product, right? But you can still be part of the product, but it's very, very tough. And I know for a fact we are the only people in Australia, period, who have mastered leverage, right? There are other coaching organizations out there that say it can't be done. I beg to differ, because I've mastered it. You're proof of in the pudding is you, Tan, right? But taking a business and like taking a service-based business, I haven't done it. So I'm happy to give it a crack. But like at the end of the day, having a PT service-based business where the owner of that is completely removed, like I've done it interstate, one's worked, one hasn't. The only reason was the person, right? But it could work. It's just depends on how dependent people are on you, right? And it's a very cutthroat industry where trainers eventually, what happened is like we're hiring trainers that use you guys as stepping stones. And you're stupid if you don't admit that, right? Like I do say in the content that we provide and leverage, I say, like, you've got to expect your trainers to leave you at some point, right? I have got staff here that have never lost trainers. That's phenomenal. Phenomenal. Dan Pardo is one, and Dan has 5 trainers and never lost any of them. And he's been doing this with me for years. Like, that's amazing. But you've got to expect that they'll leave. So when they leave, depending on the management, how it's managed will determine whether the clients gravitate with them, which then leaves your business going, you've got 4 trainers, 25% of that business just evaporates. And then you're away in Australia or somewhere else, and you see the business going backwards. I could talk about it for days. It's tricky, but it's doable. It's tricky, but it's doable. Clever management is what it is. But PT, you're delivering a service which is very personal. So when you remove that, And then you've hired staff that want to eventually progress through their careers, like anybody in any industry. It's not just PTs. Anyone in any industry wants pay rises. They want career progression. They want to eventually do their own thing potentially, or they get offered a job somewhere else. They take it, right? So yeah, it's all up for debate, Tan, 100%. Fletch.
Yeah, because I was sort of thinking about it a little bit more overnight, and because I want to move back to Adelaide at some point.
Yeah.
In the gyms I was working at, it was very like tight knit sort of group. It was like one owner over just 2 clubs. She's looking to open up another 2, and I was hoping to go and like, because she even said like, if you ever come back, like you can be my PT manager. Like she basically just said that, and I'm thinking like, instead of a PT manager, actually hire my own trainers for those whole like 4 gyms. Like I see that in my future, but also don't want to give up what I've built here. You know what I mean? That's the only reason.
So look, I'll be honest with you guys. So when you start going into the high level coaching, when I say high level coaching with us, it's like when you go, and it's like it is custom, and there is elements of one-on-one, and you work with me because I can't coach it all individually. Leverage is twice the length of anything else in the portal, right? When you master leverage and you kind of go through that, you can do it again at any time. If I went bankrupt tomorrow, I would not care. I wouldn't care. Now, obviously, it wouldn't be nice, right? But I have this, right? This is priceless. You can create again whatever you want to do. So ideally, what you do as a Tan and a Fletcher is you automate where you are. And then if you move to Adelaide or Australia, right, you automate where you are first, and then you move to where you want to be. Now, what you do is you recreate. You like, at the end of the day, you recreate, right? You can always recreate. However, you're smarter, you've got more experience, so which means you do it faster, we do it quicker, and you can then go and do stuff like you've mentioned there. Now, first and foremost, if you go to Adelaide is one of the best states for personal trainers. I would say Brisbane and Adelaide are probably the 2 best states for personal trainers that I've worked with for sure. I mean, every single trainer in Adelaide, Cassie's one of them here, they all explode quickly. And it's because a multitude of reasons we don't need to get into, but it's a great place to be. Being a cluster PT sort of overseer manager, 100%, it's easily done. Most franchise owners want good personal trainers, but they can't find them. When they find one of them, like Monica, who's in the Snap Fitness in Adelaide, they want Monica to oversee like another 2nd club, then a 3rd club. Now, I'll tell you something here as well, right? I'll go for it. When I was at the convention in Sydney last year, I spoke to the owner of Snap Fitness, and they said that PTs are the bane of their existence, right? And the only reason why that is, as you can all probably understand and imagine, is because they're not educated. They just are not educated. Most of them are a thorn in their side. So they were talking about changing the whole model, right? But he wouldn't tell me what it was. I got a meeting with him in a couple of weeks. And they won't change the model. When I say change the model, I mean putting everything through their books and then paying the trainers a wage. That they wouldn't be able to do that, and I don't think that would happen in this country like it's happened in the US. There's just the overhead, we worked it out. It was like, I think for Snap Fitness it would be about 50 million a year. It would cost them about 50 million a year, and still then that's based off them having the volume of trainer or volume of sessions that you guys provide, right? But them generating that. They wouldn't be able to do that because they're not you guys. Their staff don't have the marketing, the sales, and all that sort of stuff. So look, I think in the future, definitely a position for you, Fletch, going to Adelaide. Definitely, if you have relationships there, you hook up with these guys, you go in, you establish yourself again. Like, man, you can go and build a 6-figure business anywhere at any time by clicking your fingers when you have the know-how. But then it's from there, it's about expansion and then how to do it correctly. And then there's a lot of custom stuff that we put in place, like residual income streams and cuts of profits and stuff. You can't coach, like I said, it's all I put it together with the guys customly, right? But yeah, like, be prepared to give it away, to move somewhere you want to be, but then just recreate it. Tom Rose, one of amazing client of mine, she was based in Adelaide. in a good life, wasn't happy, came in doing about $1,000 a week. We got her to about 1,500. She had so much potential. And she just said, Simon, I want to move to Vic. Can we find a gym in Vic? She moved here. Within 4 weeks, she was making $3,000 a week or something like that. And she's now got her partner involved in the business. She's leveraging another trainer deep this year at some point when the time is right. That's what happened. You just relocate and do it again. But you've got to be where you like, you got to be happy where you are, right? So if you're Tan or Fletch, you're not happy where you are, or eventually you wanna, flee the nest, that's fine. We'll automate the business, but at the end of the day, we'll put managers in place and stuff like that. But at the same time, it's tough, it's tricky, because people are selfish, and people see, in the nature of a PT business, people see that a lot of it is up for the taking. And yeah, it's just one of those things. But I can go deeper with it. Like, I'll leave you with this part here. Paying your manager is what will save your business. And that's that. That's how it works. You pay someone a wage where they cannot where they cannot walk away from, and they'll do anything to keep it. So there's a lot of what we do when we do leverage and stuff like that. You've got to get everything right. And if you don't, it'll collapse. But if you do, you'll be able to, pick and eat the fruits for as long as you want. And that's it. So hopefully that helps. Some good, like, motivational sort of forecasting stuff for the year ahead. And that's that. Any questions on any of that? Anyone, or Fletch or Tan, anything else on that you want to elaborate on?
I do have a separate question.
Yeah, bro, go.
I just had someone message me because they want to cancel, but we haven't even done our onboarding session yet. Basically, they've said that they've done a bit of budgeting and won't be able to afford it. They're on a silver, so I could probably drop sell them to a bronze.
Yeah.
But then the other thing is, their onboarding session is today, so I definitely make sure that they come to that, and then
just tell them that you've got the time set aside for them today. Come in and we'll sort it all out in person, but just say, I can completely agree with you and we'll work it out, no problem.
Yeah.
Get them in front of you and then drop sell them down, and that's it.
Yeah. So I should always get them in front of me before I drop sell. Hey?
Yeah, ideally, yeah. Ideally. I mean, where you're at now, yeah, 100%. You always get them in front of you. It's not always like that in the future. Again, with leverage and different management, like we've just spoken about. But yeah, for now, 100%. Get them in front of you and just say, I can completely agree. But like what I think we both know is that you want to get in shape, right? Yes, sweet. So what I'll do is, let's chop this in half. Start at a bronze. And just say that we do specials and stuff like that occasionally, where you can go up to silvers and stuff. But let's get you started on your bronze and let's rock and roll. And but do it in a very, again, like when I say things to you guys, I'm always delivering it in the tone of which I want you guys to say to them. Really, really casual, really smooth, laid back, and they'll buy into it. But the worst thing you can do is be like, because a lot of people jump to a conclusion on the phone, right? Don't do that. Like, we've got the time set aside for you today anyway, so come in, I'll give you some pointers, and obviously we'll work something out. But just say, I can completely agree with you and I fully understand, so no problem. Tell them that you fully understand. That will make them come in, because then it's not like, oh yeah, let's drop sell you down, come into the gym, and they're like, no, I've told you I want to quit. Be reasonable. You've got to understand with them first, right? It's all part of customer service, the customer service element of how people handle their businesses sometimes doesn't get them very far. So yeah, hopefully that helps. And that's
something good have happened to them in the last week, like financially or personally, you just don't know about.
Yeah,
I've had that happen in the past before. Someone's ready to sign up, and then they'll have a death in the family, or they'll have someone lose their job, and you just got to work it out. And half the time, if they don't get started, they come back later.
That's exactly right. Yeah. That's exactly right. And this is why, again, guys, you always let people in with open arms and let them leave with open arms. I'm telling you, like, it is one of the biggest, like, and look, I'll be honest with you, like, at stages of my career as well, the only reason why I know this is because I didn't do that. I'm not proud of it. But like, you're always building a business for your future clients. So these learning stages that you're going through now and stuff, but you inheriting that knowledge there from Mike and me as well, it's like, that will save you making a balls of it, ruining a relationship, which then gives you a negative review and jeopardizes your reputation. That's the worst that could happen, right? But like, I'll tell you, it's when you're in a growth phase, and you know, you're waiting for invoices to balance, and you go NDIS stuff going on. Do you know what I mean? It's you want to grow, right? But just know, like, and this is like, when I say this, I mean this like wholeheartedly, bro. You have a freaking bright year ahead of you. You don't have anything to worry about, Fletch, at all. Like there are a lot of people that I know could probably be here today on the webinar, but will have a little bit of a trickier time. Maybe because they've got more competition in the gym. Maybe because they didn't generate as many leads as what other people did during Christmas and New Year, or they took prolonged periods of time off after knowing that they probably shouldn't, but they chose to do that. Fine, completely fine. But there will be repercussions of that. And as long as you can understand the repercussions, there's no problem. At the end of the day, we just got to highlight it. So yeah, that's it, bro.
Yeah.
You'd be sweet. Yeah, any questions about anything else from anyone else at all to do with anything? Hi, Nath. Hopefully you're good, mate. Hi, Nath. Yeah, anything, guys, about anyone else? Who started making calls yesterday? Tash, did you make your calls?
I'm starting mine today. So I've got a gap around lunchtime today. So I'll start doing my calls as of then.
Good. Just get them done, guys. I'm telling you, like, one of the, and it happens. I've done it recently. Do not, but my business coach told me this. He said, do not be the person who spends a lot of money on Facebook ads and never calls the leads. And I did that. But it's stupidity. It's absolute stupidity. Don't be the person, guys. Please, just don't be. Like, we work all this time to generate the leads, get them done, have fun, be energetic on the phone as well. Be energetic, and you'll be completely and utterly fine. And it's that simple. So yeah, that's that. Yeah, any questions, guys? Yes, Tash.
Just a quick one. I did post it in the community
Oh yeah.
yesterday. So I'm looking at, obviously, with my leads, and obviously we've got the winner of the hamper and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Ideally, with me sort of bashing my head on the ceiling right about now. And I've got, like I said, I've got 5 clients that are due back when I get back after my leave. I've got 4 of them that are international, so they're coming back from seeing family and stuff like that. Ideally, how many should I be looking to or aiming for, so I'm not going to the point where I'm going too overboard? Because I don't want to be doing 50-hour weeks, which I was doing towards the back end of last year. Considering I'm pretty much capped, what would be the ideal?
Well, look, this is the God's honest truth. What do you want? That's the first thing. So, like, for me, and I know, like, Mike's been there, Nave definitely, Cass 100% is probably there now, Tan as well, Jack similarly, like, and this isn't like you have to do this. I did 60 to 70-hour weeks sometimes. Don't recommend doing that at all. Don't, like, for me, 55 as an entrepreneur, 55-hour weeks are necessary. Now, but think about it like this, though. If you could automate a lot of the back end stuff like that, and you can put more time into the front end, which is the deliverable of the session of the service that you're selling, then that's what you want to do. That's going to boost your income up. It really depends, Tash, on what you want as an individual. Like, there is no right and wrong. What I say to people is 20 hours of PT is the ceiling, where I recommend you then leverage if you want to go down that path and do it right. You can do that. Otherwise, because I know for you, Tash, as well, you're looking at the holding pods and semi-privates. I know for a fact as well, like, I know for a fact, and I know it's public forum, but resistance will be a lot to do with that as well, right? And it's everyone here where Fletch talks about, you know, expansion and Tan moving countries potentially. There will be big freaking resistance before any of that shit happens with those 2 guys. Hell, like, Mike knows resistance with hiring a trainer. Like, it took us months before we first hired one, but we wanted to do it. There's a lot of, there you go. So, like, there's resistance. What do you want? So it comes down to what you want. And again, you can message me personally if you don't want to talk about it here, but there is no right and wrong number. Like, what I would say is this: if you generated 100 leads, expect on the low end, and this is what I spoke about in the training, I said expect on the low end that 50% of them vanish, but you get in contact with 50. If you did the lead generation correctly and the quality of the leads are solid, you should be able to get in touch with 50%. Then from there, if you can get 20 to 30 show with your and even go with a 25% conversion rate, 1 in 4. There's 2 new clients, average of 1 session each. That puts Tash right at the ceiling. You're full. You're full. If you like, could you take on another 5 to 10 hours worth of PT clients at the moment?
Not at the moment. That's why I'm doing the semi-private for that specific reason, to try and
right. So
yeah, that's more where I'm at. So
think about it like this, right? A lot of people, it comes down to belief, right? Now, we speak a lot about semi-private and the holding pods, right? So like, if you are a semi-private trainer that only does semi-private training, your belief around semi-private training will be 100%.
Yeah.
Right. It is new for you. So naturally there will be resistance, naturally, right? If you then deliver anything with hesitation, people won't want it. They just won't want it. They'll buy into you, right? They'll buy into you and what you recommend for them. And if you say, because again, this is how it happens for the first time, like nobody can deliver something 100% without cocking it up at least once, twice, 10, 20 times before you master it. So it might take you 10, 20 people before you actually realize and go, right, this is what we've got now because we're doing this, this, and this to wait for these, and these people. This is the thing for you. You've got to come up with a way that you deliver it, which makes people go, okay, tick, tick, tick. That makes sense to the subconscious. And yeah, I can get on board with that. If you say something along the lines of like, okay, so fully booked, full at the moment, but we have got these. They're not as good, but like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's gone. So it just comes down to that. I mean, there are multiple ways as well, guys, of leveraging, but the be all and end all is to hire staff.
Yeah.
Like I said yesterday with Richard Branson, it's the only way. You don't see billionaires that are one-man bands. You don't see millionaires that are one-man bands. You can't be a millionaire, like to make $20,000 weeks plus, like you need help. You actually need help. Like you can't do that on your own. So that's where it's kind of simple. Like, the semi-private model would be great. I mean, I think I've never worked it out, but the ceiling for semi-private, I would probably say is like, you might be able to run at 5K weeks yourself, $250,000 a year, which is freaking good turnover. But I don't, that's just off the top of my head. I wouldn't know. Depending on how many people in slots and how many primetime slots versus, there's just a lot of outlying anomalies. So yeah, I mean, how many people can you expect to get Tash in a nutshell? I don't know. I would be saying everyone here aim for 10 clients. If you can get 10 clients or even 10 sessions, it's been a pretty good little period. I mean, you make $600 a week more. At the start of December, 4 weeks ago, if you said in a month from now, if I was doing 2,100 rather than 1,500 or 2,600 rather than 2,000, right? Would you be happy? Probably. No. There's no right and wrong. There's no right and wrong. There's no yes and no's. It's just completely up to what you guys want. I know for a fact there's people already that have added $600. I know because they messaged me earlier on that have added $600 since New Year. It's 3 days. You know, and that's no comparison. It's just what people have and how you get out what you put in, how wired they are towards the process and everything like that. So yeah, I don't know whether that kind of helps, Tash, but you can control your destiny. You will always control the outcome that you want. But what I would recommend to people is remember, if there's a shiny object, especially if like it looks like there's no jail cell bars in front of it, which there fucking is most of the time. I'm telling you, you just can't see them because you're obsessed with the diamond. You don't care, like you don't. Oh, the diamond's nice. Yeah, that's $250,000 diamond. I don't even know. The diamond's nice, right? Do you know what I mean? People don't look at the negative setbacks. It's just up to you whether you realize those things. And I'm not saying there is negative setbacks doing semi-privates. There's not, but yeah, it's tricky. Work with me on it closely, you know. Ant as well it plays a big part, I think, with him as well. He's going to have to do his stuff that he knows he needs to do, but I
mean, the other thing too is we've actually started doing. He's done a whole heap of nutrition books, recipe books based on his nutrition stuff, and it's all compatible with MyFitnessPal, so they can scan it in and it basically loads up all their macros. He's done and that was a missing market. So it's basically he's done vegan, veggie, smoothies, 5 ingredients, high protein, low carb.
Yep.
So he's put those together, and that's another add-on we can then start to use with clients and stuff like that, and as a booster as well.
It's a great booster. I'll be really honest as well, though. It's a great booster. It's not going to be it's not going to be a game.
Yeah.
It's like, again, anyone here that's wrote meal plans for people before or done anything like that where you twist the rules and that, do they use them? No. Like all the hard work that goes into stuff like that, I'm not joking. And this is what a lot of people tend to do. I'm not saying this is anyone here. So many people will avoid what they know they need to do to try and get around it by doing something 10 times easier. It never works. And like if we were going to relate that to Ant's situation, get the cert back. I like Sage that went down, and like him losing his cert is the most freaking frustrating thing that could ever happen. I had clients have that as well. Just unfortunately, get it back. Get it. Like, you want to go like and like talk about like making bank and making cash flow.
Yeah.
Like, how long have we worked with each other, Tash? 15 months. You could have done it twice in that time. You could have done it twice in that time. You could go into a gym, and then in the next 15 months, you could be doing 2, 3, 4K per week. Like it's one of those ones you got to think about. But again, depends what the goal is for yourself, you know. So I would never try and avoid the fact that people want personal trainers, and then you combine that with his amazing qualifications in nutrition. Because that's the way in. Unless you could go into a gym as a nutritionist. Now I know like you get ex-physios go in, so you got exercise physiologists go into gyms and stuff, but gyms could do with nutritionists in them, to be honest with you. They really could. People that can obviously do that stuff. So there's that. Nathan, I don't know, are you there, bro? Yo, does Mel do anything with her qualifications when it comes to the nutrition side of stuff? And does she do anything inside the new gym or anything like that?
Yeah, so they just let you know my phone's on 2%, so that's why my video's off, so it may die. I'll keep it quick. So she does do health consults or nutrition consults with the gym within the facility. She does get paid a premium for doing that as well. And of course, we make it as like a byproduct of our service, PT service. So at the moment, we're still smoothing a few of the edges over, but because the members can already have a sit-down consult with her, if they book it in, we're saying you can still have that consult with her in the gym, that face-to-face, but working with me, as long as it goes through me, you essentially get that service with her 24/7 instead of having to wait for an appointment.
Yeah, there you go. Oh, that's good. It's good to see that there's an outlet there and it's being used. You know what I mean? So this is the same thing, Tash. Like, I mean, Nathan's partner is qualified in that space. She uses it to her advantage and to the members' advantage as well. You know, there is a massive need for it. But like we know as PTs, you don't need to have the quals if you do things with like macronutrients and calorie counting and stuff like that.
You don't need it. I found working with Mel, the only time I actually ever utilize her knowledge is if you're working with someone that has like a debilitating disease or food allergy disease. Okay, this person has this. It's completely out of my scope, but they want to lose weight or gain muscle. What do I do? And then I'll ask her. How many times that happens? It's not that often, really.
Yeah, and that's the only reason why you need the quals in it. Right, the diet to be a dietitian or nutritionist is because of basically allergies and giving people the wrong.
Yeah, like if you ever heard Mel do a spill on nutrition with someone, you can tell she's educated. It's a lot better than how we would talk about it.
Yeah.
She gets into the nitty gritty, like we talk about micronutrients. But do people need that stuff to lose weight or gain muscle? No.
Yeah. It's a very good point. Take nothing away from these guys. I'm massively well educated. I couldn't do it like in that scope. So they have their education and qualification in areas that we don't. We just have to work within the 4 rules or the 4 walls of the scope and practice we can do, which is like Cert 3 and 4 PT. You know, like that's it. So that's that. All right, what are we at here? Time. Okay, 4 minutes. What I'm going to do is this. Oh, so just an update for Tan and Michael as well. So this year, we're in probably in the next week or 2 weeks, but I'll give you a lot of heads up. We're not going to be doing any more double-barreled webinars because, like, for example, all of us go into another webinar. Anything you want to talk about, guys, or it's already been talked about, right? So double barrel webinars back to back are probably going to stop. Leverage webinars are for leverage people only. We did implement that towards the end of last year. So, and all of, you may notice as well, all of the recordings now of leverage have been moved into leverage sections. So it's just so that leverage people are getting their extra value that you guys pay for when you go on leverage agreements with us. So no double barrel webinars. Oh my God. Torrential here. But yeah, we will do a double barrel one today, but then there will be slight changes, and we've got some exciting other changes coming in soon. Probably say towards the end of the month when people get back into the full swing of things. But yeah, for now, I'm going to leave this one here. We've got 3 minutes. I'm going to get a drink of water, and I'll see you in the other webinar shortly, guys. See you then.